News 5 Live. The wife of Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador makes a brief visit to Belize. Motorists are caught in a massive bottleneck in the early morning rush. 23-year-old Eldon Flowers walks from the murder of Richard O'Neill. And it's Culture Tuesday. We'll show you a husband and wife couple that is preserving the Creole culture through various personal accessories. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Hello, welcome to Samsung's awesome experience right here in Belize. Come check it out. Not sure which Samsung Galaxy A series is right for you? Touch, play, and learn about your device before you buy. Once you've purchased your device, you can now benefit from the full Samsung service experience. Your phone is covered by a 1-year local warranty. This includes manufacturer defects and software and hardware issues caused by the manufacturer. Enjoy your phone with peace of mind knowing that your Galaxy is protected. And when your warranty expires, you can still bring it to our certified Samsung Repair Center. Our technicians will diagnose and repair your device with Samsung original parts and machinery. Enjoy the Samsung experience when you shop at any of our authorized partners countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Odette's Home Center, Debari, Tropigas, and Quartz. Join the Samsung experience in Belize today.
And there was yet another mass shooting Friday night. Police have been narrowing down suspects. Meanwhile, the president will be meeting with the victim's family.
Just leave! I'm not leaving. You're pushing me.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, April 18th. I am Sabrina Daly. It was a nightmare for commuters heading into the city today as traffic was backed up for over an hour, causing many students and employees to arrive late to school and work as main thoroughfares were blocked off from vehicular traffic. Many were unaware of what was taking place, but the high security protocol hinted that someone important was in Belize. But who was it? 2 weeks ago, Belize welcomed and hosted the President of the Republic of China Taiwan, Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, who was on a state visit to the jewel. And today, the wife of the President of Mexico, Beatriz Gutierrez Mueller, arrived in Belize bearing gifts. The visit from Mueller came almost a year after President Andrés Manuel López Obrador made an official visit to Belize and met with Prime Minister John Briceño and officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. During that visit, agreements on trade, education, agriculture, infrastructure, and transport were forged. Despite the huge population gap, Belize and Mexico share many similarities in history and culture. And today, equipment and books were handed over as part of a project to preserve historic archives in Latin America and the Caribbean. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Traffic was blocked off for miles as a motorcade from the Philip Golson International Airport escorted Beatriz Gutierrez Mueller to the House of Culture in Belize City. Mueller is the wife of Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. It is a country with whom Belize shares diplomatic relations and agreements in trade, agriculture, cultural exchanges, and more. But her visit today was to deliver a Book I-5 overhead book scanner and books to the country of Belize. During a ceremony today, a letter of intent was signed between both countries.
The best relations we have to have is with our neighbors. And we have three, at least: United States of America, Guatemala, and Belize. But the rest of the Caribbean and the South American countries are also our friends. We belong to a community that has a similar history. Historical events are very important in our sharing history. The native ones and those who came to America to conquest, to live, even to spoil. So the heritage we have in this continent is very, very long. La cultura maya developed from the Gulf of Mexico to Panama. So we have in common also that, the same history of our native ancestors. And of course, the immigration that has to be with opportunities of job. For example, in Mexico, mining exploitation and many other reasons that other people decided to travel and to establish in Mexico, also in Belize, and that's our common history. History is not only a social discipline, una disciplina social. History is a teacher. Don't forget that.
The visit serves to reinforce over 4 decades of relations between Belize and Mexico, but the handing over is a first step for Belize in the recovery of historical records in Latin America and the Caribbean project. Wife of the Prime Minister of Belize, Rosana Briceño, says that historic preservation is critical for Belize's development as a people.
Even though this is a very short visit, it is a significant one. Historic preservation is a deep and meaningful conversation about our past, which in turn influences key aspects of our future. It is an opportunity for future generations to understand and appreciate the significant events, people, and stories that shape Belize's history. Staff at the National Institute of Culture and History, the Belize Archives and Records Service, the National Library Service, and the Museum of Belize are tasked with responding to the significant question, what is important in our history? They grapple with decisions about ensuring that important parts of our past are preserved for the future.
CEO in the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, Diane Mejia, says that the project recognizes the importance of protecting and preserving Belize's textual history and culture.
A gift like the scanner is going to go a long way. The archives has so many documents from the 1800s, that need to be scanned and properly preserved. A donation like this is well over $30,000 for the machine itself. To have the training, the technical capacity building that goes along with it is really important. Just now, our Museum of Belize has 5 projects that they can think about that they need a scanner for right off the bat. So the areas of our Ministry of Culture will definitely need to be working together here. And yes, it's going to be difficult to share a scanner, but this is a scanner that we didn't have before. So we're grateful for this, and we now have on our, not our wish list, but our things to do list for this year is to get another one.
During today's handing over ceremony, there was also a musical presentation by a mariachi band from Mexico.
I think that the mariachis were really symbolic because that was the exclamation point to why we have to recognize history, why we have to preserve history, why we have to document history, and why we recognize culture.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And while the wife of the Mexican president came bearing gifts, her short visit created quite a bit of inconvenience for motorists and commuters in Belize City. Traffic was backed up for miles along the Philip Gosen Highway for just over 2 hours. But could this long wait have been avoided if there were better planning and execution? News 5's Paul Lopez has the story.
Following her arrival at the Philip Gosen International Airport, Dr. Beatriz Gutierrez Mueller, the wife of the President of Mexico, met with Prime Minister John Briceño inside the VIP room at the airport. Amalia Mai, the CEO in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, escorted Mueller into the room where she was met by Prime Minister Briceño. They exchanged a few words before taking their seats to continue that conversation. Following the discussion, Dr. Mueller departed the PGIA in a motorcade en route to the House of Culture in Belize City. On Monday night, the Belize City Council issued a road caution notice informing motorists that traffic will be delayed on the Philip Gosen Highway, Freetown Road, Map Street, Northfront Street, Albert Street, and Regent Street to facilitate Dr. Mueller's visit. But this morning, what motorists and commuters experienced was far from just a delay. It was a near-complete roadblock which lasted for approximately 2 hours in the peak of the morning's rush, causing many to reach their places of employment and schools late. Anita Nemhard, a resident of Ladyville, was on a public bus en route to Belize City to take her 9-year-old daughter to school, as she does daily. Worried that she would not get her child to school on time, a frustrated Nemhard decided she would walk the rest of the journey from Chetamal Boulevard to St. Joseph's School.
I tell you, it was really ridiculous this morning. You know, we were in the line for like an hour and it really wasn't going. So we were like, okay, it's because the road is being fixed. Not knowing that they blocked us from coming that direction because some high-ranking person was visiting Belize. So we couldn't be on that road. So I was like, okay, we were sitting in the bus for a while. And I said to my daughter, you know what, Mama, I want you to get to school early today and I want to reach to work. So we said, okay, let's walk. And, you know, she said, cool. And we took the journey and we walked almost all the way to like by the roundabout before Belize Mills, before we got a ride. And that was exactly when they let the traffic was able to flow.
Complaints from motorists flooded social media at the same time as traffic was backed up across the city. Here, this group of motorcyclists maneuvered their way through the long line of vehicles on the Philip Gosen Highway, only to make it to the front where they were informed that they could not go any farther. One cyclist waited patiently with his hand under his chin as he bore the heat of the morning sun.
I know that everybody have to get to where they need to get, but I think that if the people in who has to make these decisions so early in the morning could have said, you know what, let's look at how we could allow one area to flow and not just, it's the entire traffic that came to a halt again. And we just went through the same incident 2 weeks ago when not even cycles could cross. And I was on a cycle 2 weeks ago. Like 25 minutes to Belize City, but with the road that it was already bad for a couple months now, we give ourselves like an hour. Yeah. So she should have been at school by 8 o'clock.
So a usual 25-minute trip
took almost 2 hours. And the walk, I didn't even look at the time, but I knew it was almost 9 o'clock. You know, when we actually got into where we would have normally would come off the bus.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams issued a statement on social media this morning, apologizing to motorists. He says it appears that the police blocked the traffic too early, causing major and lengthy inconvenience to users of the Philip Golson Highway. He noted that moving forward, the department will conduct greater assessments to ensure that future blockades and inconveniences will be for a minimal time. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Coming up, Fitzroy Yearwood, the sarcastic dad and protector. Find out the details when we come back.
Hello friends, I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Ye are our epistles written in our hearts, known and read of all men." The only Bible some people ever read is your life. The only God in Christ some will ever see is the one your life betrays. Your life can either attract people to Christ or alienate them from Him. Some time ago I heard the story of a town that had 5 banks. 4 of the banks were about to go out of business, while the 5th was thriving and successful. An investigation was made to determine why this one bank was so successful. They discovered the answer was simple. It was a bank teller. There was a bank teller in the successful bank who made everyone feel secure and confident in the bank. The Apostle Paul says that as Christians, we are to be living epistles. Our greatest desire should be to live in such a way as to portray a Christ who others will be attracted to. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
John and Kate, I checked your results. You cannot have children. I'm sorry.
Department of Human Services, how may I help you?
Yes, my husband and I wanted to know more about the Heart of Gold adoption program.
Yes, of course. I'm glad you called. Well, let me tell you more about the Heart of Gold program.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Contact the Department of Human Services and find out how you can become a foster or adoptive parent and be that heart of gold.
Staying connected with your loved ones while traveling is even more important during this global pandemic. With Digi, this is even easier and more convenient with our data roaming plans. Postpaid customers have instant access to mobile data when in 41 destinations worldwide. With 3 affordable plans, starting at only $28, it's easy to instantly connect via your favorite digital platform. To purchase your data roaming plan, contact Digi before your travel date. If you are already abroad, you can contact us via email at digihelp@livedigi.com or via WhatsApp at 608-8888. For more information, visit our website at livedigi.com/digicel or visit a Digi store near you. You can roam, stay safe, and stay connected with Digi.
The man who used to field questions from the media and share information on police news every Monday will be laid to rest on Friday, following a wake at the House of Culture on Thursday night, starting at 6. Fittingly, today it was the family of Assistant Superintendent of Police Fitzroy Yearwood who sat at the same desk he did each week to share the side of the man we didn't know and to explain what his last day was like before he suffered the massive stroke that ultimately claimed his life. His older sister, Sharat Yearwood, recalled that on Holy Saturday, just hours before Fitzroy would collapse, he was elated that it was a Belizean who was leading the final leg of the Holy Saturday cross-country cycling classic. Sharat said he was urging them to get ready to go see the finish of the race, but she never got to see him.
I called him when the lead rider was on Princess Margaret Drive. So I called and I spoke to him and he was super excited. I said, "Bro, are you watching the end of the race?" He said, "Yes, of course." And I told him, I said, "Well, the rider is heading your way." He said, "I'm right out here by Marina Towers." I said, "Okay, well, the rider is heading your way, so look out for him." He didn't ask me if I was out there or not. About a half an hour later, my sister-in-law called me and she said, "Sis, where are you?" I said, "I'm still home." She said, "Well, your brother is looking for you because he thought you were out here." I was still at my mom. Saturday night, a little after 7, his wife called me and she said, "Sis, I need your help." And she started explaining to me that he was throwing up. Just at the time we got there, it's like he just fell into a deep sleep. I could hear him. So it was like a sleep, right? And so when I got in there, I told the paramedics, "You need to get him out of here quickly. Let's get him out of here." And my brother was something else, because I had to help carry him. Just as, he's a little prankster. And so I wouldn't expect anything differently from him. And so all 3 of us here helped to take him downstairs, right? After they had him ready and everything. And we had to lift, we had to carry him. And I am so happy that I was there to do it.
But Yearwood would never recover. His family said that even though he had rebounded well in the past from near-death situations caused by health complications, this time the prognosis from the get-go was grim. His brain had swollen and was hemorrhaging, and it happened at a spot where doctors decided they could do nothing to help. Yearwood slipped away on Tuesday, April 11th, leaving behind 9 children ranging in ages from 26 to 7 years old. He shared 3 of those children with his wife, Adeline. She explained that Fitzroy, in all his jovial personality, was a serious family man who protected his loved ones.
He was a protector. You wouldn't want to cross his children because you're crossing him. So he was very protective, not only of his children, but of his loved ones, his family. He took family very seriously. He liked to joke around with the girls. He would come in the room, and especially the last one, Destiny, he would mess around with her. So she's very, she does very well in school. So he had this thing at home where every test you get, every test you pass, and you get 90 or above, you get $5. So it so happened that she got a lot of tests at school and she was racking up the $5. So when she would bring the test paper at home, she would lay it on his pillow. So when he comes home, as he opens his bedroom door, there's like maybe 3 test papers on his pillow. And he's like, "You're breaking me. I'm going broke. You need to slow down. You need to get some things wrong on your test." And we always made a silly joke out of it. But he always supported us in whatever it was, whether it was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go for a marathon with the kids at school, or helping with a bake sale for one of the girls at school. Any little thing that was in a positive direction, he was all for it. And he always took the time and he explained to the girls, life is hard and I will do my very best to be here for you and support you and make sure that you're okay. Lean on me. Let me know what's happening. You know, don't feel that you are walking a journey alone, because I am your father and I am here to guide you and protect you.
Fitzroy Yearwood had initially signed up with the Belize Defense Force, but didn't like that job and left. He then joined the Belize Police Department in 1996, and even though his health had dealt him a few stiff blows, he rose through the ranks to Assistant Superintendent of Police, the post he held up until the time of his death. While the job demanding a lot of his time, he still managed to help people without talking about it, as his younger sister, Monique Yearwood, shared.
When I think of him, I cannot recall a time when Fitzroy didn't have a solution for a problem. It could be anything, and I would take it to him and he would say, like, is that what you're worried about? I can fix that. Anything. It could be just something for emotional support, but he always had a solution to whatever problem you think you have. And I believe that yes, he served in his job in that capacity, but he served anybody, he helped anybody. He was just always there for you. And that's what I remember the most about him. Since his passing, a lot of people have been reaching out to us and said, I remember a time when he did this for me, or he did that for me, and he never spoke about those things to us, even though these are people that we also know. And I try to think, when did he find the time to do that? Because I feel like he was always with us. We got a lot of time with him at our parents' house. So he gave of himself. He really served.
Yearwood will be laid to rest on Friday following a funeral service at St. John's Cathedral in Belize City, starting at 1 p.m. and will include full police honors. 23-year-old Eldon Flowers, a well-known street figure, walked free from the murder of Richard O'Neill earlier today after the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions entered a nolle prosequi in the courtroom of Justice Nigel Pilgrim. In November 2019, O'Neill was abducted and taken to an area along the Boom-Hattieville Road where he was shot and left for dead. The resident of Ordonez Street survived for 3 weeks before succumbing to his injuries. A month and a half later, Flowers was taken into police custody and was subsequently charged with murder. He remained in pretrial detention at the Belize Central Prison for almost 3 years before appearing in the High Court earlier today for trial. While waiting for the matter to commence, Flowers was informed by the judge that he was free to go after senior Crown Counsel Shaniza Smith entered a case of nolle prosequi against the accused. No reason was given for the no-case submission. The charge against Flowers was not his first murder rap. In 2017, he was arraigned on a count of murder, following the shooting death of Randolph Johnson. He was later acquitted of that charge by Justice Colin Williams in a trial without jury. Attorney Norman Rodriguez spoke on Flowers' behalf following today's acquittal.
You guys tell us how the case for Eldon Flowers ending up in a nolle prosequi during case management?
Well, we went before the court 3 to 4 weeks ago for case management, and the judge gave certain orders to the Crown and to myself, which is normal to happen it is normal for that to happen at a case management, because the purpose of that is to work out the issues that need to be worked out. So he gave certain orders, and we also looked at something very important to this case, that there was one hearsay statement, and that is what the Crown would have relied on to get a conviction. It's kind of challenging, it's very challenging as a matter of fact, because the hearsay statement didn't fall within one of the exceptions. So it would have been an uphill battle for the Crown. And prudently, about less than a week ago, I was informed that they had filed a nolle pros.
So Mr. Flowers was charged for murder.
He was charged for murder. And I must say, Anita, that it's regretful that somebody lost his life. And I want to sympathize with the family for that. Because nobody deserves to be killed. But if you're going to get a conviction, or if you're going to prosecute somebody, the evidence must be there to support the commission of the crime. And in this case, that wasn't the case. I must also add that I'm not going to take credit for this. It is simply the due process at work, or justice at work, let the justice functioning. Because, like I said, prudently, the Crown decided that there was not enough evidence, and they do what they're supposed to do. They didn't prolong it.
Many would remember 54-year-old John Brackett, an amputee who protested the Social Security Board last year regarding his disability benefits. Today, he appeared before Justice Ricardo O'Neill Sancroft, who imposed a suspended sentence for the lesser charge of attempted murder and deadly means of harm. In February 2018, Brackett reportedly stabbed Kenrick Valencio, a security guard, in the abdomen outside of the Princess Hotel and Casino. 5 years later, the matter has concluded despite the presiding judge wanting to sentence him to jail time. Brackett was spared after attorney Oscar Salgado pleaded on his behalf during mitigation. Brackett has instead been ordered to undergo 2 years of anger management. After the break, preserving Creole culture through accoutrements. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
My name is Julie, and I'm a single mom raising a 10-year-old son. I'm the director for a conservation organization. When I started working in the field of marine conservation, it was absolutely male-dominated. It still is male-dominated. One of my first jobs was as a manager out on a remote island with all male staff reporting to me. And one of my assistants was very upset with me and actually told me, the only woman whoever tells me what to do is my mom. And I have my son, and I really do want to show him that really anything can be done, and it doesn't matter who you are. From day one, I've been teaching my son that any job that a man can do, a woman can do. And he has learned this, and he now preaches this to friends and even my colleagues.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult, in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
With so many different styles of light bulbs, sometimes it's tricky to choose the right one. Whether it's a screw-in, candelabra base, or pins, we have what you need. From lamps to ceiling fans, floodlights or chandeliers, we have bulbs available in cool white, warm white, or daylight. All you have to do is choose. Once you have chosen your bulb, the final choice is technology. LED technology is energy efficient, long-lasting, produces a high-quality light, and saves you money. Choose wisely and let Benny's be your one-stop for lights. Benny's, quality and saving.
Safety is a cornerstone of peace of mind. And for a long time, the Belize National Fire Service has been doing our best to help ensure the safety of the Belizean public. We see that there is more we can do. This is why we have embarked on certifying firefighters to also be able to provide emergency medical services to the communities that we have been proudly serving. This means that we can now assist with both fire and medical emergencies with efficient time. We went even further and created the 990 Communication Center, an emergency dispatcher service developed for quick responses to fires, accidents, and health calls. This service is already presently available for the Cairo region. Just dial 990 and the first question you will be asked is, 990, what is the address of your emergency? You see, if we don't know where you are, we can't get you the help you need. Stay on the line and continue to answer the questions of the dispatcher. They will use the Beacon app to give real-time updates to emergency responders as they approach the situation and will be prepared to serve you. The Belize National Fire Service, the U.S. Embassy of Belize, and Belize Heroes have partnered to make emergency medical services available. We ask for the public to partner with us and call 990 for emergencies. You are help until help arrives.
On tonight's episode of Culture Tuesday, we look at a husband and wife couple that is working together to preserve Creole language and culture through artisanship. Andrea and Dion Rodriguez founded Accoutrements a few years ago as a means of making some money from the sale of small trinkets and personal accessories. But their creative use of Creole proverbs has launched their products far beyond Belize and into the diaspora. News 5's Isani Catano has the following story.
Preserving shared beliefs and values are essential for maintaining cohesion in a society, as it fosters a sense of identity and belonging among communities. Without cultural preservation, diversity and heritage can be lost, resulting in the homogenization of societies, as well as the disappearance of unique traditions and practices. Enter Accoutrements, a standalone brand that aims to carry on Creole culture through the use of popular expressions.
I kind of stumbled into accoutrements, because one day I realized, my husband brought home a calendar. And I was like, why we not have a calendar that, captures our culture and fun and, educational at the same time. So that is how I kind of stumbled into this. I started with a simple little black and white calendar with the words, everything is in Creole. The Belize standardized Creole spelling, that's what I chose to use.
Cultural practices are passed on from generation to generation in various ways, including oral tradition.
Preservation of the culture is part of our identity as Belizeans. And so I think the more we embrace it, the more people will want to travel to experience it because it's different. Even though we have had similar history with other Caribbean countries, there are different cultural experiences here in Belize that others can learn from.
By using colloquialisms as catchphrases on various accessories, Andrea Rodriguez and her husband founded Accoutrements, a creolized take on the word accoutrements.
Accoutrements means odds and ends, personal accessories, and I wanted a name that would capture everything that I would want to do. I didn't want to kind of box it to just the calendar. So that is how I kind of came up with the name Accoutrements.
It's interesting that you would say that there is a standardized way of writing Creole, because one of the famous Creole expression is the rangai rangai kareka kareka.
Yeah, well, I think there were a lot of people who put a lot of effort into creating a standardized way so that we could all be on the same page. It's not to dictate how you should spell or speak Creole. And so I decided that because I wanted to also pay a tribute to all those people like Silvana Ods and Miss Yvette Herrera, even Dr. Colville Young, our former Governor General, they all worked really hard to come up with a way that we could all have a set standard. And so I decided that that is what I'm going to do, and I'm loving it. I had to teach myself how to write it, how to spell, and I'm still learning.
Married for the past 20 years, this couple, despite Andrea being of Creole descent and Dion being Garifuna, is firmly rooted in Belizean tradition. They had an idea that was instantly marketable, but the Rodriguezes were initially reluctant to go all the way in, despite the investment that they had already made.
After getting the first 200, because there was some hesitation in investing so much money and then not knowing if people will buy it. The first 200 were sold in 2 weeks, less than a month. And so we had to order more and then order more. And so the experience has been amazing. And through that, other products were birthed as well.
Getting into business together has drawn the Rodriguezes closer to each other. They work hand in hand to deliver on the many orders that keep pouring in. Many of those requests are coming from Belizeans in the diaspora.
It has been a life-changing journey for me. People from all cultures, all walks of life have been so receptive. They love it. They want to share it with everybody. I have people who say they share. I do a word of the day, a Creole word of the day every day. And they are like, we share it every day in our family group chat. Some people say they share it with their study group all over. So accoutrement started with just a little calendar here in Belize. People loved it. I sold out as I got them. And now accoutrements is all over the world. People from all over the world have been asking for my stuff and just really embrace it. But I must say that the biggest support that I've received are from Belizeans abroad who want to connect with their, what I call the heart language, because Creole is the heart language a lot of way.
Preserving the Creole language is Andrea and Dion's humble way of contributing to Belize's economic growth without losing the authenticity and integrity of the Creole culture. Reporting for News 5, I am Isane Cayetano.
The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, better known as UNESCO, actively fights against prejudice and discrimination, as well as the defense of human rights and the protection of cultural heritage. The latter is what the donation from the government of Mexico through the recovery of historical records in Latin America and the Caribbean project seeks to achieve. During an interview with Diane Mejia, CEO in the Ministry of Education, Culture and History, she disclosed that there is an ongoing UNESCO initiative to promote the diversity of cultural expression in Belize.
UNESCO and a team are working toward the quadrennial periodic report for the protection and promotion of diversity of cultural expression. And they worked 4 days last week on preparing for this, and this is something that's going to be ongoing now. And I think, being here at our House of Culture, here where our government house is, recognizing that our culture is important to us, we have to do more, not just to acknowledge it, but to protect and preserve it. And here are our neighbors saying the same thing to us.
When we return, Caribbean Financial Action Task Force assesses Belize's preparedness to combat financial crimes.
up for a smart share plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Environmentally degradable plastics, or EDP, are plastics that are affected by a combination of environmental conditions that cause the plastic to break down within an acceptable time frame. They are specifically designed to degrade into carbon dioxide, water, and other biomass substances. The level of breakdown can vary based on standard test methods appropriate to the plastic. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Earlier today, when the media caught up with the Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Education, she was asked for an update on the rollout of the competency-based curriculum, which was piloted at the start of the 2022 school year. As we reported, education stakeholders have been traveling to schools across the country, getting feedback. While the academic calendar has not come to a close as yet, CEO Diane Mejia gave an update on the assessment process so far.
We are currently working with secondary schools. So since last month, this month into May, the team is visiting high schools across the country, finding out again, you know, what their needs are, what their perspective is, what their concerns are. Really, it's a lot of looking at the concerns. How do you begin to move toward more competency-based learning? But again, you know, the general atmosphere seems to be positive, right? That people acknowledge the concerns, which is what you have to do. So new change is always different, right? So if you can acknowledge the fact that we have concerns, we're not sure about certain things, we need to figure this out. That's where we are. We're figuring things out as we plan for the coming academic year for secondary schools. This is considered our transition year, especially for the primary schools. So primary schools have been a lot more engaged with secondary schools now. We're just working with them on like the learning outcomes, getting feedback from them and like that. So we're further ahead of the game with primary than we are with secondary.
CEO Mahia also gave an update on the ministry's free education program. At the start of the 2022 school year, 4 high schools on the south side of Belize City benefited from the Pro-Poor program. In mid-March, Prime Minister John Briceño announced that students in Toledo and Stan Creek districts will also benefit from the free education program. Today, CEO Mahia says that when the rollout commences in southern Belize, approximately 2,600 high school students, which is about 12%, will be engaged in the next academic year.
We're looking at an expansion of 5 more schools in the south, and that expansion is going to reach a target of 1,600 more students. So remember, this first pilot project with the 4 schools that we're doing in Belize City, the goal has always been to reach 1,000 students. And we're just shy of that goal, right? We're at between 950 and 1,000 who have registered and consistently attended school, because of course attendance is always something to monitor. But we're looking at 1,000 for Belize City, and now with the rollout and the 5 schools that we're adding, we're targeting another 1,600 students. And if you consider the fact that we have some 22,000 students more or less in high school, what you're looking at is that with these 9 schools, we are going to be touching 2,600 students and helping them to get to school and to stay in school.
The Caribbean Financial Task Force, CFATF, is carrying out a mutual evaluation exercise on Belize. The evaluation is being done to assess the strength of Belize's technical compliance in combating money laundering and the financing of terrorism and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Technical compliance includes the assessments of relevant laws and regulations in Belize in comparison with the international standards set by Financial Action Task Force. Belize will be required to demonstrate that its laws are fully, or at a minimum, largely compliant with the task force recommendations. To this end, Belize's National Anti-Money Laundering Committee has recommended a comprehensive suite of legislative reforms to include new investigation tools and confiscation measures, among other recommendations. As a result, we've seen legislation such as the Nonprofit Organizations Bill, the Extradition Bill, and Civil Asset Recovery Bill brought before Parliament. Notably, failure to address the areas of deficiencies identified could lead to the backlisting of Belize, as Prime Minister John Briceño pointed out to reporters back in March outside of the National Assembly building.
These are things that are being forced upon us by the international community when it comes to the issue of money laundering and anti-terrorism and that kind of stuff. Well, we have no control over it. And the NGO bills are very straightforward. All we're saying is that you just need to give an account where you to get your money from, just for reporting to the FIU, so that then the international community, they can see that we're doing our part. We cannot take any risk when it comes to the issue of the corresponding banking situation. We lost about 80% of the the corresponding banking relationships that we had earlier, probably 10 years ago. So the ones that we have to do everything possible to keep them. And right now the Financial Action Task Force from the Caribbean will be making a new review of our work by the end of December. They will be here in June to see how far we are, and these are some of the obligations that they have imposed on us.
Belize is obligated to submit technical compliance information by June 2nd, 2023. Reggae dancehall artist Ras Indio, with the support of the Belize Tourism Board and few of his other partners, represented Belize in the U.S. at the Dallas Reggae Festival. Ras Indio is internationally known, and he has produced quite a few popular songs in the last decade as an artist. We caught up with him this morning to hear about his experience in Dallas at the festival. Here is what he told us.
The Dallas Reggae Festival. It was a huge lineup of reggae music from all over the world. You know, we had Inner Circle, who got to meet again. They said that they remember playing in Belize in the 1970s at Bird's Eye. It was a blessing to be around such great musicians and great singers. You know, Alika from Argentina, she had a great show. Jesse Ryal, he had an amazing show, you know. Israel Vibration, and I get to interact and meet all these people and let them know where we're from. And that's how a few of them were familiar with Belize. There's nothing else in the world more that any artist who put their life into it, because that's what I've done. I put my entire life into music, you know. So the thing, like the whole COVID spell period was a little hard for us to deal with, you know, like it was a spell of just nothing happening. And so to get invited to such a festival now, right after the whole thing blew over, it lets me know and it gives me a lot of encouragement to keep doing what I'm doing, you know. And, you know, yeah, I will never lose this passion for one day represent we and one to travel.
Up next, former world champion sprinter scouts for talent in Belize.
My Social Security is your secure online account to manage all your Social Security information. My Social Security launched in March 2021 with registration service to apply online for new or replacement Social Security cards. Upgrades to My Social Security continues with a new look, enhanced customer experience, and its newest feature, Sickness Benefit Online application. With My Social Security, you can create your account, log in, and take control of your Social Security information. This includes applying for a new or replacement Social Security card for yourself, child, or dependent. Make appointments online and submit your complete sickness benefit claim package. Our customer care team is here to provide you, our valued customers, with real-time support. Connect with one of our customer care agents through direct messages on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, or live chat, or follow our YouTube channel for more information. Social Security at your fingertips. My Social Security.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult, in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Over the weekend, a track and field coach from Virginia spent time in Belize scouting young talents. Former world champion sprinter turned coach Andre Kaysen spent Saturday and Sunday at the Belize Athletic Association's National Track and Field Championships, where he was able to witness some of Belize's most promising athletes in action. The good news is Coach Kaysen has identified at least 3 Belizeans that he intends to take under his wings in the U.S. He heads the Speed Evolution Athletics Club. We spoke with Coach Kaysen, who hopes to soon become the national sprint coach for Belize.
We came here to Belize. I came with Gregory Myers. I came here to Belize to scout talent at your national championships, to see if I could find some athletes that I could possibly work with in helping them to achieve the level 1 standard for the World Championships and also for the Olympic Games.
How did that go? Were you able to identify some outstanding talent?
Yes, I was able to identify maybe 3 or 4 athletes that I see potential and that I could work with. And I had conversations with those athletes, and they're eager to move forward and to do well in the sport of track and field. So hopefully we can get them going and get them going in the right direction, for that matter, to get them to level 1A standard for the World Championships this year, or yes, this year, and the Olympic Games next year and beyond. I have the number 1 sprinter, 100-meter sprinter in the country, in the United States. I have the number 2 400-meter runner in the United States, and they're all, well, one is 17 and the other is 18. One just turned 17. Brianna Selby just turned 17. She's number 1 she won the indoor national championships for New Balance and for Adidas. So she's the number 1 sprinter in the country right now. And Madison White is the number 2 400-meter sprinter in the country.
Members of the House of Shotokan won big over the weekend at the Wushu Kung Fu Martial Arts Championship. The competition was held on Saturday in El Paso, Texas, and students from the Karate Academy won awards in form, fighting, and martial arts weapons categories. Among the winners is Ampri Swayze, who won 1st and 2nd place in Forms and Children Beginners Fighting Division, respectively. Meanwhile, Gordon Feinstein won 1st place in both Children Intermediate Forms Division and Children Intermediate Fighting, and Emily Feinstein won 3rd place in Children Girls Fighting and 4th place in Children Girls Forms Division. Today, News 5 caught up with Swayze and Shehan Ray Kelly at the Academy on Princess Margaret Drive.
I train a lot for these medals. My dad usually trained me at home, and I love to train here, and I love karate too.
How long have you been doing karate? Do you remember?
I think about a year.
A year, okay. What's your favorite thing about karate?
My favorite thing about karate is the movement and the fighting.
The students from the dojo, along with their parents, we have been training to go to a tournament in the United States. Since COVID and all of that, we have not been making an effort to get over there, but now we're looking to get back into traveling outside the U.S. into the tournament competition. This was the first time that the students have participated in the United States coming out of COVID. And we traveled to Texas at a Shaolin Wushu Kung Fu competition. And there the student did a great, phenomenal job in representing the country of Belize there for the first time in that area there in Texas. Well, we'd like to thank the parents because this trip here, believe it or not, it came out of their own resources. So it came out of pocket. Airplane ticket is not cheap. So to fly out of Belize and then put up the hotel expenses and accommodation and pay for all of that, that exclusively came from the parents. And for me, that's awesome to see that the parents stand behind their children to willing to put that kind of expense out. And in return, the children did not disappoint.
Belize's national football A team will receive much needed support through the signing of a memorandum of understanding today, ahead of preparations to play upcoming games. The Belize Tourism Board and the Football Federation of Belize agreed that, under this arrangement, the BTB, as the main corporate sponsor of the Belize national team program, will provide the funds necessary for the team to be able to adequately prepare itself to face off against its counterparts from other countries in friendly and competition matches. FFB President Sergio Chuck explained the significance of the agreement after the signing.
The signing is an agreement whereby the BTB is going to help finance the national A-team preparation. I don't want to go into the details about the figure, but it is quite substantial. It is actually the first time that a government entity has committed so much money into one particular federation to promote sports, and in particular football. At this moment, I think we are the #1 sport by far in the country, and the government has seen it fit to push some fundings into the national team. I think it will benefit us tremendously as the federation, and it will also benefit the tourism product that we offer as a country.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.